Resident Evil.
Resident Evil is one of my favorite franchises ever. Resident Evil 1 wasn't the first Resident Evil game I played. I actually played after Resident Evil 5. I mostly played Resident Evil 2 from the classics, which is my first Resident Evil game. Even though I played Resident Evil 1 when it was pretty much outdated, I still loved it. And I'm glad that I played. If you enjoy classic Resident Evils, you should really give a try to Resident Evil 1, where everything begins. Resident Evil is one of the most influential games ever made. It inspired so many games and was the first game that used the survival horror term. Resident Evil is a survival horror game with fixed camera angles, tank controls, puzzles, and combat. Shinji Mikami, the creator and the director of Resident Evil, was originally going to remake a Japanese game called Sweet Home, but it ended up being his own game. Resident Evil was released in 1996 by Capcom on PS1. Later it was ported to other platforms. There are so many ports of this game, I will talk about it later. Resident Evil was supposed to be first person, but due to limitation of the engine, they decided to go with pre-rendered backgrounds. Movie-like camera angles and atmospheric music made this game so special. However, the voice acting was ridiculous, but still game received good critics.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh! Oh no! Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
Voice acting is so hilarious that I couldn't stop laughing. It's bad, but it's very entertaining, so it's actually a good thing.
Oh, Jill, this house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
Also, the director's cut, DualShock Edition, that horrible soundtrack. I recommend you to play this game with original soundtrack. Stay far from director's cut DualShock Edition. I was going to record the game PC version. In my opinion, is best looking on PC. But I had some issues, so I ended up recording with PS1 emulator. But it still looks good. When you just run the game, someone starts screaming like a maniac. It might be Chris, I don't know. Okay, that's a good start. The original release of the game had no options for difficulty, but the director's cut have difficulty options. Basically, normal, easy, and hard. I will talk about advanced, as known as orange mode, later on. So I start playing at standard mode. Before then start the game, you have to select from two playable characters, Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine. You will be in same locations, doing the same puzzles, but there are some differences. There are different cutscenes, different sport characters, some different weapons and items. I recommend you choose Jill for the first gameplay, because developers hate Chris for some reason. Well, I don't know if anyone cares, but there will be spoilers in this video. The first thing you will notice, Jill has 8 slots of inventory, but Chris has only 6. Not only that, Jill has a lockpick that she can open some doors and desks, but Chris needs a sword key and a small key. That's 2 keys, 2 spaces in inventory, despite having a smaller inventory than Jill. Chris starts with a knife, while Jill starts with a handgun. Okay, Chris will obtain Jill's handgun later, but still makes no sense. Plus, Barry kills the first zombie for Jill, but Chris must kill it himself. Jill can be saved from the shotgun room without worrying about carrying a broken shotgun, but our guy Chris, who has a smaller inventory must carry the broken shotgun. Jill can obtain a grenade launcher which is more powerful than a shotgun, especially against hunters, which Chris can't obtain. He will obtain a flamethrower, though it can be used limited times in limited areas. The grenade launcher is still superior. Barry will give grenade launcher ammo to Jill. Chris won't be getting any extra ammo from Rebecca. Chris got healed by Rebecca, but that's limited, and since she's in the safe room, you can just grab a herb by yourself anyway. She might be useful in orange mode though. Barry will also kill the prompt for Jill, where she barely needs to shoot.
What the hell is this?
Barry!
Jill!
While Chris can have Rebecca's help, still needs to shoot more. Even Enrico is a dick to Chris.
Enrico!
Don't come any closer, Chris.
Wait, what happened?
Double crosser!
Don't!
In this game, decisions and playstyle matter to shape your gameplay. So Barry might not save you sometimes, but still Chris have a big disadvantage compared to Jill. At least Chris has higher hit points than Jill, so he's a bit tanky. After selecting a character, game opens with a cinematic. There is the censored version of the opening, and the uncensored version is even funnier. So basically, there were some bizarre cases of people found dead and eaten. Raccoon City Police Department sent Chris Bravo team to investigate, but they disappeared. So the Alpha team was sent to find Bravo team. The Alpha team did find Bravo team's helicopter, but soon after they were attacked by zombie dogs. Meanwhile, Brett like fuck it and ran away with the chopper, leaving them to die.
No! Don't go!
Yep, they managed to run into the mansion, where they thought it was safe. But nope, nope! After they arrived at the mansion, you will see the most 90s character introduction ever.
Chris Redfield. Jill Valentine. Barry Burton. Rebecca Chambers. Albert Wesker. Resident Evil.
I love how they slap a video onto Chris's face to censor his smoking. Jokes aside, I love their outfits and looks. It was the times Capcom do creative outfits than now. After the intro, you see another first class acting cutscene. Depending on if you are Jill or Chris, cutscene changes a bit.
What is this?
Wow, what a mansion!
I select Jill. I will be talking about her gameplay first. Later I will show Chris's gameplay. Wesker, Barry and Jill run to the mansion, thinking it's safe. They notice Chris is missing. They heard a gunshot, thinking it's Chris. Jill and Barry went to investigate it. Now you can control Jill. Well, you got no tutorial here, nothing marking where to go, what to do, no walking section, takes half an hour before starting the game, forcing you to hold just forward button and watch endless cutscenes before you can finally play it. Well, you got user manuals back in the day, you could check the controls, etc. But still, I love that you immediately start playing without any bullshit. I love the atmosphere in the dining room, but their dialogue cracks me up. And of course, the iconic first zombie scene.
Barry?
What is it?
Watch out! It's a monster!
Let me take care of this. What is it?
Kenneth was killed too. Maybe by this creature. Anyway, let's report this to Wesker.
After that, they go to report to Wesker, but Wesker disappears,
Wesker!
and there you got the lockpick from Barry.
Jill, here's a lockpick. It might be handy if you, the master of unlocking, take it with you.
Thanks. Maybe I'll need it.
Now you can unlock many doors and drawers with the lockpick. Mansion has many locked doors and puzzles. You can create your own play style. You can play in different order, though the game mostly linear. You will start with a handgun, knife, and a first aid spray. Well, the knife can be useful if you are skilled enough. Also, depending on the way you play, you might see different cutscenes, and some of your play styles will have consequences that might make your game easier or change the ending. Every room you enter has a creepy atmosphere, and good music tenses the atmosphere. You will find various items around the mansion. You will need to manage your inventory, making crucial decisions. You have a chest to save items, but they are in a few rooms. When you use the chest, you cannot combine items through the chest. You will find various weapons. You can also choose to not fight and avoid enemies altogether in many areas. Every time you take damage, you will lose HP and your status will change. Being in danger or fine doesn't change your animation in this game. You will be using herbs and first aid spray for healing. First aid spray can fully heal. Herbs have different healing amount, depend of how you combine them. Also, when you are poisoned, you cannot die of poison, but it will drain your life to danger. You must use a blue herb to cure it. Blue herb won't heal you though. You still need to heal after it. There isn't very hard puzzles, mostly place and use items kind of puzzle. There are some moving object puzzles too. Overall, puzzles are quite easy. When you find items, you can inspect them and sometimes find items inside of them. Inspecting items will also reveal their use, like mansion keys. Fixed camera angles make the game tenser. You might not see enemies in your sight, but you will hear them. There are few jump scares in the game. I wasn't scared when I play, but I'm usually not scared when I play video games. Backtracking is done right in this game. At some point in the game, you will encounter new enemies when you are back in the previous area. What is challenging is finding a good order to play this game. Entering at the wrong rooms at the wrong time can cause the use of too many resources. In the beginning, ammo and herbs are few, but after middle of the game you will be loaded with lots of resources. Saving your game often will be helpful, so you don't need to start over. You need ingredients to save your game. You can find a few of them, so you need to use them wisely. You will find various documents unfolding the truth about the mansion's secrets. I will do a short story recap later. You will encounter various enemies as you advance in the game. You will encounter stronger enemies, but you will also find better weapons. Weapons are quite satisfying, especially shotgun. You can kill couple of zombies same time with one headshot. Even though graphics are outdated, still headshots are so satisfying. I do think graphics still look good. Grenade Launcher is another powerful weapon. It has 3 different ammo, but you can't switch ammo of a loaded Grenade Launcher. That's the downside of it. You have acid, flame, and explosive rounds. Chris cannot access to Grenade Launcher. Magnum is very powerful weapon, but you have few ammo around, so you need to use it carefully. Flamethrower is only accessible for Chris. It has limited ammo, it can be decent killing hunters and spiders, but you can only access it to it in caves. Speaking about hunters, my god, after advancing in the game and coming back to the mansion, you got this motherfucker, this one of the most annoying enemies in the entire Resident Evil franchise. They can one-shot you if you are in caution or danger status. They can dodge bullets jumping around, they can stun lock you, and you will eventually die. They do that noise before making a deadly strike is the true horror of this game. So yeah, fuck this enemy. You got another very annoying enemy, whatever the fuck they are, these guys. You can try to run past them, but most of the times you will get hit. They can dodge bullets just like hunters, and when they attack in groups, they can stun lock you and eventually kill you. The rest of the enemies still make the game challenging, especially beginning of the game. It's better to avoid fighting and save resources. And of course, we got bosses. We got a giant snake. You see this guy twice. First time you can't kill it, but you can damage it enough so it goes off. If it hits you, you get poisoned, but don't worry, Barry comes to rescue you as always. The second time is the real boss fight. It's in a tiny area, so you will be hit often. There is one spider boss. It's not hard to kill it, especially if you got fire, but the biggest problem is the cave area is so fucked up. You will be loaded with tons of items until the spider fight. There is no chest nearby, it's so annoying. How can we forget the plant fight? If you get Barry to kill it for you, it's a very easy boss fight.
What the hell is this?
Barry!
Jill!
And of course the final boss. We see this guy twice. In the first fight, he just walked at you calmly. He couldn't care less. Usually he will take a few hits to be down. It's easy. But then there's the second fight. Oh boy. This is the hardest fight in the game. Perfect final boss. He's very quick, he has a large range. When he dashes and attacks you, I died a lot first time I tried this game. Interesting enough, if you fail to save Barry, there won't be self-destruction, and you can skip this fight entirely. Same for Chris's scenario, if Rebecca dies, there won't be self-destruction. Jill and Chris' story is very similar. Basically, Chris starts the game in mansion. They find Bravo team members through the game. Jill has Barry, a sportive character, and Chris has Rebecca. They fought their way trying to escape the mansion. In Jill's story, Chris is missing from the beginning. You got Barry to help you in various stations. Depending on your decision and playstyle, you can save Barry at the end of the game. Some of these decisions can be easily missed. Like you have to wait until he comes back with the rope. In the case you have to avoid he goes all Rambo. Meanwhile, Wesker kidnaps Chris. Yes, I don't know how, the game never explains, but seems like when they entered the mansion, Wesker yeets Chris and kidnaps him. At the end of the game, you can save Chris too. He will be in prison and you will need to rescue him by making some puzzles. In Chris' story, we got Rebecca. Her cutscenes are hilarious. Well, she can be useful, but not like Barry. When Chris is injured, you can bring this serum by playing as her, or depending on your playstyle, she will be carrying Chris to the safe room. Yes, she carries Chris. Okay, I get Barry can carry Jill, but Rebecca carries Chris. She can heal you 3 times. This is useful on arrange mode, but I don't feel like it's much useful in normal mode. She can play piano for you, but come on, Jill could do it by herself. She can do visual for you. Again, Jill could just do it herself anyway. When Chris is back to the mansion, Rebecca will be attacked by a hunter.
What are they? Monsters? Rebecca! Is she still in the house?
Depending on your playstyle, she will be in a different room. If you fail to save her quickly, you will witness her death. After saving her there, she will be safe rest of the game. Interestingly, Barry gives some ammo to Jill in the safe room, but in Chris's scenario is Wesker. So suddenly he wanna help him? I guess they felt like it was unfair to Chris for once. In Jill's story, Chris was the one kidnapped and imprisoned by Wesker. This time it happens to Jill in Chris's story. You can rescue her, there are several endings in the game depending on if you fail to save your supportive characters or not. And you will have different cutscenes depending on your playstyle. When you finish the game, you can unlock outfits and weapons. Depending on the version is different weapons and outfits. Also, PlayStation 1 version comes with Director's Cut. It has Arrange mode that comes with new camera angles, item relocated, new outfits, and some new cutscenes. Arrange mode is basically hard mode. Enemies hit harder and they have higher HP. Enemies are more aggressive and some of them are faster. You have a better handgun that makes critical damage. I actually had more fun playing Arrange mode. It was more challenging. Now you can access important case earlier, so you can have more powerful weapons from the beginning, but enemies hit harder. When you find the first zombie, you can loot 2 handgun ammo from Kenneth's body. But if you leave the room and come back, his body is eaten, and you no longer can obtain that ammo. If Jill finds Forrest's corpse in Arrange mode, Forrest comes alive, but in normal mode, Forrest remains dead. If Barry is there with Jill, Barry kills it for her. And Chris, well, he needs to kill it himself. Though if Jill meets Barry on the balcony, Barry will no longer save her from the shotgun trap. Chris can meet Rebecca when he finds Richard, since he got the mansion key earlier. When Chris changes outfit, Rebecca changes too. However, Barry will not change his outfit when Jill changes. I will do a short story recap. Raccoon City Police Department sent STAR's Bravo team to investigate weird cases of murders like eating corpses, but they got lost. Alpha team sent to find Bravo team. They found Bravo team's helicopter, but soon after they were attacked and they ran into the mansion. They eventually found Bravo team members, but only Rebecca survived. They searched through the mansion and find out medical company was experimenting with viruses, turning living things into monsters and using them as weapons. Wesker, the captain of the Alpha team, was working for Umbrella Corporation all this time and used the STARS team to test bioweapons. He was ordered to nuke the mansion and the secret lab underneath it to destroy all the evidence. He attempts to use Tyrant, a powerful bioweapon, to kill STARS members, but Tyrant ends up killing Wesker and our heroes fought with it, killed it, and escaped the mansion. Canon ending for this game is all 5 characters survive. Yes, even Wesker. There are many ports of this game. Some of them come with new outfits and weapons. Deadly Silence is the FPS version of Resident Evil 1 with some additional characters and a game mode. The Saturn version has a battle mode, and of course we got a Faithful remake, which is a remake of the entire game in a new engine, expanding the game and makes it better. I will do a video about it, of course. Even though I played this game late, I still enjoyed it a lot. I finished many times. I enjoyed the cutscenes a lot. Seriously, caves were my least favorite part, mainly because the chest was way too far and you had to carry double crank and dumb shit like that. Still, I never felt like, damn, I don't wanna play that part. I simply go with fewer items and prepare myself. I never had issues with tank controls if I use D-pad, because analog makes it so annoying when the camera angle changes. If you ever feel like tank controls are annoying, I recommend you try D-pad instead of analog. I love the atmosphere in this game. Even though the graphics are outdated, it's still very spooky to go through the abandoned mansion with the incredible music accompanying you. I love how every area has its own theme, making it memorable. Even though characters' voice acting is hilarious, I still love the characters. Many games try to be Resident Evil. Some become uninspired clones. Meanwhile, others created their own twist and become legend itself. Here is a mini compilation of hilarious cutscenes. Enjoy! Thanks for watching.
What? What is this?
What is it?
Blood.
Who is it?
Hey, you! Stop! Run, Jill! He's insane! What the hell?
Let's report this to Wesker.
Whoa! What is it?
What? Oh! Oh no! Sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
You must be from the Bravo team.
Yes, I'm Rebecca. Rebecca Chambers. I'm a newcomer. I just joined the Stars Bravo team last month. Well, I'm really sorry. Are you all right?
Yes.
What's going on? Any clues?
No, but something's wrong with this house.
Whoa! This hall is dangerous. But just take a look at this. It's forest. Oh my God.
It's awful. Let's separate again.
Just a moment. I found something.
What is it?
It's a weapon. It's really powerful, especially against living things. Better take it with you.
But how about you, Barry?
I have this.
Thank you. I'll take this then.
Ah, Chris! This room is fully equipped with medical supplies. I can treat you, except for your major injury. Would you like me to?
I'm okay, but if something happens to me, please take care of me.
Oh, Barry!
That was too close. You were almost a Jill sandwich.
You're right. Barry, thanks for saving my life. But Barry, didn't you say you're going back to the dining room to do some research? Why on earth are you here?
I just had something I wanted to check. Now, let's get back to searching for the lost captain and Chris, shall we?
It's me, Chris.
Is that you, Rebecca?
Ah, it's the Moonlight Sonata.
Can you play? Wait, what is that?
My interpretation is off a little. Chris, may I practice for a while?
See? Just relax and play.
All right.
Richard, what happened?
Oh, Jill, this house is dangerous. There are terrible demons. Ouch!
You're wounded. What kind of demon attacked you?
It was a huge snake and also poisonous. Ugh.
Poisonous? Oh no. Richard, hold on.
There is serum. Oh no, I should have brought some with me.
No problem. I'll go and get it.
Thanks.
He seems to have been bitten by a poisonous snake, but the size of the wound is abnormally large.
It's not just a poisonous snake. It's a monster.
Chris! Chris! You like it?
Oh, that was great.
What is that?
Am I poisoned? Give me the serum.
Am I poisoned? Damn it, give me serum.
Jill, have you found anything interesting?
Yes, but I can't see very well.
How about going down to check by yourself? I have a rope here.
Oh, do you? Well, then I'll try to go down using the rope.
Wait.
Is that you, Rebecca?
Chris, are you all right?
Yeah. What happened?
You were bitten by a poisonous snake. Are you okay?
My head is killing me.
This is Brad. Stars Alpha Team. Please respond. What the hell? Is nobody out there?
Brad, this is Jill.
This is Brad. Stars Alpha Team. Bravo Team. It doesn't matter. Anybody, answer me. This is
Brad? Brad!
Rebecca!
Chris!
Thank God you're safe.
I'm sorry that you were worried about me.
We are in great danger. We must organize a search for the others and get the hell out of here. Understood?
Yes, sir!
Is that Jill?
Is that voice Enrico's?
Yeah?
You're alive!
Wait there! Are you with anybody, Jill?
Enrico! You saved me!
Yeah.
That was close. Thanks, Barry.
Don't mention it. What a monster. I can't believe... What the hell is this place anyway?
You killed them with your own hands. Did you kill Enrico?
Really?
Yeah, like this.
Rebecca!
Jill! Jill! You're here too!
Yes, you're here too?
Look, I lost my way.
Let's get going.
Is this?
That's right. This is the ultimate life form. Tyrant! Chris? Stop it.
Wesker, you're pitiful. This is your savior? You say this failure is your savior?
Wesker,
You did a fine job, Barry.
just as I thought.
I think you should stay away from Barry, Jill. I hear that his wife and 2 daughters will be in danger if he doesn't do everything I tell him to.
You are so cruel. Barry,
Sorry, Jill.
how is your family?
I was listening to what you and Wesker were talking about. I wish I realized it earlier. I thought it must have something to do with Umbrella, you know.
Wow!
Ha! It seems like this bulletproof jacket is pretty strong.
I see.
How about Captain Wesker?
He is sleeping with the ultimate failure.
Look at those monsters!
Let me take care of them.
But,
Chris, get in contact with Brad right away.
okay.
Jill,
Yes, what?
do you have any idea what Wesker was going to show you at the back of this place?
Well, he was talking about the world's most powerful biological weapon, called Tyrant or something, I think.
Do you think we could see Tyrant now?
Barry, you're so optimistic.
It would look bad for Stars if we let such a dangerous creature run loose.
Maybe you're right. Let's go then. Can a creature like this really be the ultimate biological weapon?
Really? Wesker is a crazy man.
Oh, Jill!
Oh, Chris! So you're okay?
Yeah, you too!
There is 3 minutes until explosion.
Oh no! You must be kidding! After we've come all the way here!
Ladies first. Go first, Jill.
But Chris!
Give me a chance to play nice guy.
Okay, I leave it up to you. See you again at the heliport.